Step into the shadows if you dare, and let's journey back to a time of superstition, mystery, and a darkness that held Eastern Europe in its icy grip. Tonight, we unravel the chilling tale of a creature who has haunted our nightmares for over a century, Count Dracula. But before we meet the infamous Count, we must first understand the mind that created him. Bram Stoker, an Irish author born in 1847, was a man fascinated by folklore and the macabre. Working as a business manager for London's Lyceum Theatre, he was surrounded by drama and melodrama, which undoubtedly fueled his literary imagination. For 7 years, Stoker meticulously researched European folklore, vampire myths, and the history of a particularly fearsome Romanian prince. The result, a novel published in 1897 that would not just tell a story, but would birth a legend that refuses to die. The story begins not with the Count himself, but with a young, ambitious English solicitor named Jonathan Harker. His firm sends him on a long and arduous journey to the remote Carpathian Mountains, a land of breathtaking beauty and unsettling superstitions. His mission? To finalize a real estate transaction in London for a nobleman, a certain Count Dracula. As Jonathan travels deeper into Transylvania, the atmosphere grows more foreboding. The locals whisper prayers and cross themselves when he mentions his destination, Castle Dracula. They press crucifixes into his hands, their eyes filled with a terror he cannot yet comprehend. His final leg of the journey is by a mysterious coach driven by a silent, shadowy figure whose face is hidden from view, a man of uncanny strength who seems to command the wolves that howl in the surrounding forests. Upon his arrival, the castle looms over him, a dark, crumbling silhouette against the moonlight. The great door creaks open to reveal a tall, ancient man dressed in black from head to toe. "Welcome to my home," he says, his voice as smooth as aged velvet. "Enter freely and of your own will. This is our first meeting with Count Dracula. He is polite, aristocratic, and unnervingly charming. He is also pale, with sharp, pointed teeth and a grip of steel. In the initial days, Jonathan is treated as an honored guest. The Count is a gracious host, engaging in long, fascinating conversations late into the night. He speaks of history, of battles fought long ago, of his noble lineage. But Jonathan soon notices strange things. The Count has no reflection in the mirrors. He is never seen eating or drinking. He sleeps during the day and roams the castle only after sunset. And Jonathan realizes, with a dawning horror, that he is not a guest, but a prisoner. One night, exploring the forbidden corridors of the castle, Jonathan is mesmerized and nearly falls prey to 3 spectral women, the sisters of Dracula, beautiful and deadly. He is saved only by the furious intervention of the Count himself, who declares, "This man belongs to me." It is then that Jonathan understands the true, monstrous nature of his host. He is a vampire, an undead creature who feeds on the blood of the living. His own life is forfeit, and the Count is simply keeping him alive to learn about England, its language, and its customs. Driven by desperation, Jonathan plans a daring escape. He scales the castle walls, a terrifying descent that leads him to the Count's resting place. There, in a coffin filled with Transylvanian soil, lies Dracula, his eyes open and unseeing, his lips stained with fresh blood. The sight galvanizes Jonathan. He manages to escape the castle, but the experience leaves him broken, suffering from a severe brain fever. He finds refuge in a convent in Budapest, his mind scarred by the horrors he has witnessed. Meanwhile, back in England, Jonathan's fiancée, the gentle and virtuous Mina Murray, waits anxiously for his return. Her best friend, the beautiful and vivacious Lucy Westenra, is enjoying her summer. Lucy is a popular girl, having received marriage proposals from 3 different men on the same day. Dr. John Seward, a brilliant young doctor who runs a nearby asylum. Quincy Morris, a brave and wealthy American from Texas, and Arthur Holmwood, an English nobleman whom she truly loves and accepts. Their idyllic summer is shattered by a strange and violent storm. A mysterious Russian ship, the Demeter, runs aground at the nearby port of Whitby. The crew is missing, and the captain is found dead, tied to the helm, his logbook telling a terrifying tale of a shadowy presence that picked off his crew one by one. The ship's only cargo? 50 crates of Transylvanian earth. Dracula has arrived in London. Shortly after, Lucy's health begins to decline. She becomes pale and weak, plagued by nightmares and 2 small, mysterious puncture wounds on her neck. Dr. Seward is baffled by her condition. Desperate, he calls upon his old mentor, a brilliant Dutch professor named Abraham Van Helsing. Van Helsing is a man of both science and faith. He recognizes the signs immediately, though he is slow to reveal the unbelievable truth to the others. He suspects vampirism. He surrounds Lucy with garlic flowers, places crucifixes around her neck, and performs multiple blood transfusions, with Arthur, Seward, Quincy, and even himself donating their own blood to save her. But their efforts are in vain. Dracula's power is too great. He continues to visit Lucy night after night, draining her life force. Lucy dies, but her story is far from over. Soon, local newspapers report sightings of a bloofer lady, a beautiful lady in white who lures children away and bites their necks. Van Helsing knows what has happened. Lucy has risen as one of the undead. He must convince the grief-stricken Arthur and the skeptical Dr. Seward of the horrifying truth. He leads them to Lucy's tomb at night. They find it empty. Later, they confront the newly risen Lucy, a monstrous parody of her former self, her eyes filled with unholy desire and her lips dripping with blood. It's a heartbreaking and terrifying scene. Following Van Helsing's grim instructions, her fiancé, Arthur Holmwood, must be the one to perform the sacred ritual. He drives a wooden stake through her heart, freeing her soul from the vampire's curse. Her monstrous features soften, and peace finally returns to her face. It is a moment of profound sorrow, but also of grim determination. They now have a mission: to find and destroy the monster who did this. At this point, a recovered Jonathan Harker and his now wife Mina return to England. Jonathan's journals, combined with Mina's diary, Dr. Seward's audio recordings and newspaper clippings, provide the group with a complete picture of the enemy they face. Van Helsing unites them: Jonathan, Mina, Dr. Seward, Arthur Holmwood, and Quincy Morris. They become the Crew of Light, a band of vampire hunters dedicated to purging the world of Dracula's evil. Their first task is to find Dracula's lairs. The 50 crates of Transylvanian soil are his sanctuaries, places where he can rest and regain his strength. Using Jonathan's knowledge from his time in the castle, they begin a systematic hunt across London, locating and sterilizing the boxes of earth with sacred objects, making them useless to the Count. But Dracula is a cunning and ancient foe. He realizes he is being hunted and retaliates in the most cruel way imaginable. He targets Mina, the heart and soul of their group. He invades her bedroom, drinks her blood, and, in an act of supreme violation, forces her to drink from a wound on his own chest, creating a psychic link between them. He brands her forehead with a sacred wafer, which sears her flesh, leaving a permanent scar, a mark of her impurity. This terrible act, however, becomes Dracula's undoing. Because of their psychic bond, Mina can now, under hypnosis by Van Helsing, glimpse into Dracula's thoughts. She can sense his location, feel his rage, and hear the lapping of water as he flees England by sea, heading back to the safety of his castle. The hunters realize their chase is not over. It must end where it began, in Transylvania. The final act is a desperate race against time. The Crew of Light splits up, pursuing Dracula across Europe. Van Helsing and Mina travel directly towards the castle, while Jonathan and Arthur take a boat up the river, and Seward and Quincy ride on horseback, all converging to intercept the gypsies who are transporting the Count's final coffin. As the sun begins to set on the final day, the chase culminates in a frantic, bloody battle in the snowy Borgo Pass, right at the gates of Castle Dracula. Jonathan and the wounded Quincy Morris fight their way to the coffin. Just as the last rays of sunlight disappear, Jonathan slashes the Count's throat with his kukri knife, while Quincy plunges his Bowie knife into Dracula's heart. For a moment, a look of peace crosses the Count's face. Then his body crumbles into dust and vanishes on the wind. The curse is broken. Mina's scar fades away and she is free. But the victory comes at a cost. Quincy Morris, mortally wounded in the fight, dies peacefully, knowing they have succeeded. The story ends with a note from Jonathan, written 7 years later. He and Mina are happily married, and they have a son, whom they have named Quincy. They remember their brave friend and the terrible darkness they fought together. The world is safe once more, but the memory of Count Dracula, the king of vampires, serves as a timeless reminder of the darkness that can lurk just beneath the surface of our world. And so, the legend lives on, a story of good versus evil, of love versus corruption, and of the courage it takes to face the monsters in the dark. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of horror. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from the shadows. Until next time, sleep well, if you can.